Steve, I think you might enjoy the temperature outside today. T-Rex, do you even care what the temperature is? You just want to go out and play, right? Well, not really play. Just check it out. Check it out, Steve. Let's go. Check it out. It's record warm air in New England today. 56 degrees at 9:56 a.m. This thing always shows a lightning bolt, and there may be some lightning today. Certainly plenty of severe weather last night. Really frightening weather happening. This winter is relentless. It's been the winter of severe coast-to-coast storms, and it goes on today. A night in the 50s will do that to your ice bucket. Let's see what this looks like in 24 hours. It is one of those fronts for the ages crossing the nation. This morning, there's a 984 millibar low-pressure system near Lake Huron. And that front stretches all the way down the Mississippi River Valley. Last night, there was severe weather, tornadoes, incredible, almost like looking like Hollywood there, near Gary, Indiana, near the Illinois-Indiana border. Further to the south, these are all storm chasers, and I'm trying to show their names there on Twitter because I can't remember them all, and I'm not just going to lift them without crediting them. Storm chaser in the Texas Panhandle. He says the temperature went from the mid-80s to the low 40s with wind gusting to 50 miles an hour and fires like he's never seen. So we saw those fire warnings or watches a couple days ago on that big national map, and those fires have been burning in the Central Plains. Not enough rain to put them out, so fires continue to burn with those gusty winds on the backside of the cold front now. And this front, a weather front, is a boundary between two different kinds of air. Let's look at this sort of wide shot of the temperature profile at 9 o'clock this morning. 61 degrees, record warm in Watertown, New York. We're in the 40s and 50s here in New England, also record warm. And the red numbers are wind gusts from the south on the east side of the front, and then on the other side of the front, 2 below zero at Devil's Lake in North Dakota, and 25 degrees below zero at Lake Manitoba in Saskatchewan, Canada. So let's see, 61 plus 25, that's an 86-degree temperature gradient on either side of this front. Warm air is low density. It rises and circulates to the north. Cold air is heavy. It's more dense. It's going to the south. And the extreme of the thermal gradient, along with that higher now late February, almost March sun, and old cold from the North Pole, all coming together over the Great Lakes and into New England today and tonight. You've probably heard it all now. Wind advisory here at my house for possible gusts past 50. I'll be taking that flag down today. And on Cape Cod and the islands, and I think maybe the coast of Maine and other higher elevation spots, there are wind warnings for winds possibly gusting past 60 miles an hour. If we look at the velocity azimuth display in Boston just before 9 a.m., the maximum wind was 65 knots, but it was at only 7,000 feet. So that's just a little higher than the summit of Mount Washington. And when you get the sort of punching wind, you can see the wind punching down on the water right there. The wind punches down, a lot like what happens in a tropical storm. And we almost do have tropical dew points in the 50s and 60s, for winter anyway. And anyhow, that wind can punch down, especially in any downpours or thunderstorms, and that's where you get your gusts past 60 miles an hour. So that's a real low-level jet responsible for thunderstorms in Connecticut last night, and of course all those huge severe storms in the middle of the nation. Jeff Kent, we talked about it earlier, is participating in the DN North America Championships, ice boating at Lake Waconia in Minnesota, where on Monday he was racing. It was 63 degrees. Then yesterday was 46. They had to call it off in the afternoon because of wind. It was too windy. And this morning, I would say just right, 5 degrees this morning at Waconia, Minnesota, and not too windy. He was hoping for a Zamboni effect weather event, and I think he got it, Jeff. And thanks for consulting me. It's an honor. Jeff grew up right there in that backyard. And I just heard a train. I don't usually hear trains that loud. It has to do with the wind funneling the noise from the tracks that are several miles off to my south right now. So it's a southerly wind. And for me, the south wind doesn't really cause that much of a problem because I'm on the north side of a big hill. But out there, and of course, anywhere exposed on top of a hill, you're going to have these wind problems. Anyhow, thank you for sharing that. Jeff Kent says yesterday when he was racing, before they called it, he was going 60 miles an hour on those ice boats. DN Ice Yacht, it's called. I don't know that much about it, but I know it's been running in his family forever. Best wishes to Doug and his sister's Nancy today. We're going to go visit you, Doug. Jerry and I and Doug are going to have a little board meeting and discuss this crazy weather. Like yesterday here in my backyard, it was about 43 degrees. Well, 20 miles to the west, it was 63 degrees. The refrigerator effect of the cold ocean. When that warm air rises inland, it gets very cold on a sea breeze day like yesterday. I think there was more than a sea breeze. And that is going to be an issue going forward. So everyone's really covered this storm with the timing of the precipitation. Here's the rain crossing New England with a possible thunderstorm. Not expecting any severe thunderstorms per se, but you can get damaging wind gusts even without a thunderstorm today, tonight. And there's the blue is snow, and look how fast it changes from rain to snow and then ends. I don't think we're going to get much in our mountains, just a solid refreeze, but at least it will halt the melting. And the snow is not really that deep except for at the very highest elevation. So there's going to be a lot of bare ground on some of the ski slopes. Yesterday, Josh Worth was really savoring the last of his snow. They built what do they call it? The Fort Hazen there. Josh, thank you, with his boy Chance and Wilson the dog having fun in the snow. And he's like, the snow is all going to be gone by the time this front goes by. And there's not a lot of hope for snow going after this either. The guidance has really gotten squirrely on us after tonight's front. It was supposed to be the next big cold front, a lot like the one today. It was supposed to be next Wednesday, but that's completely evaporated on the guidance, not just the Euro, but also the GFS. So whenever you see a wholesale change like that one day after the next, you just know that you don't know what's going to happen. And that's the truth with all forecasts, really. We don't know what's going to happen. So anyhow, let's go. Let's give it a try here with the 10-day latest Euro guidance. Last night, there's the front going by. Wicked cold wind, Arctic air. We've covered all that already. Coming in tomorrow. And just as quickly as it comes in, it lifts out on Friday. High pressure goes to our south on Friday. Massive snowstorms coming in off the west coast. The warnings for blizzard and the Sierra Nevada and 5 to 10 feet of snow. Those storms are going to splinter and head off towards the east, northeast, and travel into the Central Plains and then into southeastern Canada, leaving us kind of in no man's land here on the east coast. It looks like kind of a backdoor front trying to set up there on Sunday into Monday. Now look at that Monday into Tuesday. There's a 1040-something high to our north, but it's not that cold a high, and there's a weak low to our south. That means onshore flow with bands of rain coming in from the east. On and off here. Probably starting later Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What happened to the front on Wednesday? It's gone. And then next weekend, here comes another bigger thing from the south. Maybe cold enough that goes from rain to snow. I mean, winter's not over. There's plenty of cold around here. You saw that 25 below in Saskatchewan. So there is cold, and it's the cold fighting back against the record all-time warmth. Jim Cantori quotes it as insanity. More than 120 all-time February temperature, high temperature records. Yeah, and as I've always said, weather waves are longer in magnitude than human waves. In other words, we live 70 to 90 or 100 years, but weather waves come in increments of 10, 30, 50, 100, 200, 1,000 year waves. So I see just an incredible gradient between wicked cold and wicked warm. And that is the nature of weather. It can be wicked. And that was the case last night with the tornadoes and the severe firestorms in Texas. Why do I keep hearing a train? Where is that train? It's a couple miles away, and it sounds like it's right in the front yard. We're in the backyard now. Anyhow, what happened yesterday? A little bit more from Josh. I've never heard the train that loud. The weather carries the sound. Josh playing with Wilson and Chance in the yard and lamenting the loss of that snow. And here was such an interesting day yesterday, watching the fog come and go. And then our warmest air actually came in after the sun went down, with the air coming in from the west. So here we go. The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please remain seated. Please remain calm. This too shall pass, and it's going to be very interesting. For the most part, a warm wave for the next 2 weeks, but I would think there's going to be another cold wave before we get to April, or maybe in April. Hopefully no 2002 in the snow department when it all just melted away. No, 2012. Sorry, 2012 when it all just melted away. There's that trace at the Mount Mansfield snow stake in 2012. We were doing so good at the beginning of March, but then by the end of March into early April, I remember we had to cancel Bodie Fest that year at Cannon Mountain. Hopefully it's not a repeat of that, but this time it's kind of looking that way. All right, kids. Enjoy this warm weather. Talk to you tomorrow. Oh, what's that? One more thing you say, Tim? You forgot to check the rain gauge? There were some downpours. I didn't hear any thunder at my house last night, but there was thunder. So what do we got in there? 0.57. All right, and you're supposed to empty it out at 8 o'clock every morning, and I don't think it's rained that much since 8 o'clock. 0.57. Okay, let's see how much more we get with the showers and thunderstorms tonight. Let's see if it's not icing this thing in the morning. All right, here's the and more. 12:30, Tuesday, February 27th. That is a bona fide sea breeze, and the fog is coming back in. It went calm this morning. I thought the breeze from the southwest would be enough to overcome, but alas, not as of midday. Here comes the fog back over Hull. Fascinating. Wait till you see what happens this weekend.
Okay, here's Hayes' Notch Armory. Zoop. The secret entrance. Out by the turret. There he is! Bam! Look at this awesome snow we've got here. I have a feeling it's going to look a lot worse in a bit. There's my groomers. There's my glade. There's the sun. We're holding about a foot of snow in the yard. There's our sledding groomer right there. I think I'm going to have brown ski trails by the time tomorrow's over.
There's a big bird. Just took off out of Logan. Probably toward the east into the low-level wind, but up in the sky, the wind is from the southwest. Temperature here by the water is close to 40. Just inland, it's 60. We have our first sea breeze front cloud of the season. Well above the fog, that's the gray layer near the ground. Cumulus. Almost looks like Altocumulus castellanus. Can't stop. Beautiful cumulus. Up there, the wind is from the southwest. Down here, the wind has gone light. Maybe it's going to come around. Hafna Lys. Exiting Fore River. I'm not going to do a time lapse. You've had enough of those the last couple days, but this is fun. I've been seeing the tops of the buildings in Boston and not the bottom. Cold air is heavy, dense, it sinks, it's making that fog. The ocean is refrigerator effect, and the sky is showing signs of spring. Altocumulus castellanus, the precursor for thunderstorms, which are coming out of New York. It's warmer up in the sky right now, just at the base of those clouds, than it is down near the ground. And what's even more fascinating to me is the fact that right now, even though it's only about 42 here, it's 62 in Situate, Massachusetts. How'd that happen? I think there's a little more than a sea breeze, kind of a front. Fascinating day. It's not over at all yet either. Look at that cloud right there. Dennis, what are you doing to that cloud over there? It's like a inverted funnel going up into the sky behind the bridge. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There it is. Neat. There's a shark in the water, Dennis. Duck. Run. 5 o'clock update. The wind just came around. Temperature must have gone from 43 to about 54 in the last few minutes. And the time has come, finally. I've been talking about it forever. pussy willows and forsythia going into vases. It's a pretty big pussy willow stem, wouldn't you say? Oh yeah. We're gonna need a bigger vase. The high for the day happens right at sunset, February 27th. That date kind of rings a bell. We had a cat that looked a lot like Steve. His name was Bodie. Bodie would have been 13 today. Succumbed to cancer. Mitt, his little brother, just turning 13. Amen, Bodie. We miss you. Good night.